Do you blame the fireworks when the flame gets too close to the fuse, and when the fuse burns all the way down, and finally it explodes? Can you blame a pot of water sitting on a hot burner when the heat gets applied too high and suddenly it bubbles over? Do you blame yourself for things falling apart, even though you've been juggling way much more than the normal human could ever expect to handle? I think you can see where we're going with this. You've had a lot on your plate lately, right? And sure, you can argue the point that, well, I didn't really have to accept all of this on my plate, but what were the consequences if you didn't, right? The consequences wouldn't have been, well, let's say very pretty to say the least. And so you did what you felt was the only thing that you could do and the thing that you felt was the righteous thing to do, because after all, someone had to take on the responsibility for creating a change. And well, that someone might as well have been you. Only now, in one area of your life or another, you find yourself in a position where, well, what you hoped to have been able to create doesn't really seem to be able to be created as easily as you might have liked for it to. Suddenly, you find that you've got something on this hand, something on that hand, and on the other hand, you've got this, and on the other hand, you've got that, and, well, that's too many hands, right? And it's way too much to expect of yourself in such a difficult situation where already the pressure is feeling way beyond the boiling point, and you're feeling like, how on earth am I going to be able to handle all of these things? And so when that happens, what's the number one thing that you find yourself doing? You find yourself usually playing the blame game. I'm not capable enough, right? Or I shouldn't have taken on so much. After all, I know I'm not that good at these things. Well, number one, how are you ever going to get better at such things if you don't try? Number two, maybe you are pretty darn good at it, but maybe you're expecting perhaps just a little, well, maybe not even a little, but way too much of yourself, right? Now, what area of your life might this be taking place in? That's going to be different for every single individual, dependent upon, well, where the full moon is falling in their own particular horoscope, as well as the other planets that it might be triggering. And if you'd like a little bit more information on that, I'm happy to help if you wish to schedule an astrological service with me through my astrological services page, which you will find linked above. So you're handling a lot, right? You're doing your best. That's really the best that you can do, right? And it feels like your best isn't good enough. So what do? Do you go, I'm not going to be able to do this. I'm not good at this, right? Do you blame somebody else for putting pressure on you when you were the one who was all too willing to accept that pressure yourself? Do you blame yourself for accepting the responsibility because you ultimately wanted to do the right thing? Or do you place yourself in the position where you go, you know what? Like it or not, this is the set of circumstances that I'm dealing with. I can either get frustrated, I can throw a temper tantrum, I can pick things up, toss them across the room. I can do all of those things, or I can just keep focusing on the solution rather than focusing so heavily on the problem and making the problem seem even bigger than it is in the first place. Now, I know what you're saying. You're going, well, this problem is pretty damn big, right? And sure, it is pretty damn big. But the longer you look at it and the longer you see it as being some huge obstacle that's impossible and that you're not going to be able to surmount, well, that's the less work that you're applying towards alleviating the difficulty that you're dealing with. So the best bet for you at this present moment in time, in whatever area of your life this might be applying to, is to just keep your nose to the grindstone. Only make sure you don't wear your nose down too much, right? Use it to kind of sniff which way the wind is blowing. Pay attention to the signs and signals in your environment. Don't get so caught up in how frustrated you are at your seeming incapacity to deal with something that you miss an opportunity to find the very solution that you needed in the first place. In short, you need to stay focused. You need to not accept no for an answer, but you need to also be patient with yourself. And as well, be as patient as you possibly can with anybody else who, well, may be feeling that you're placing the same level of expectations upon them. Because at the end of the day, we're all human. We're all, well, hopefully doing our best, right? And really, if you're involved in a situation with someone where, well, it seems to a certain degree like it's in danger of falling apart and you're dealing with some, well, big difficulties because of that, chances are they're dealing with some very similar difficulties themselves. So the best that each of you can do in such a situation is commit yourself to doing your best. If your best isn't good enough, well, actually, it probably is good enough. Sometimes it's a matter of timing. Sometimes it's a matter of something else needs to fall into place that shows you that a different course of action needs to be taken. But if the only solution that you're seeing in the present moment is the one that's right in front of your face, you might as well do your best to work on it until another one pops up and makes itself apparent to you. But in the meantime, be patient with yourself. Be patient with another. You're only human, but being human is absolutely positively good enough. That's going to do it for this look at the full moon in Purva Bhadrapada Nakshatra, which takes place on the 2nd of September 2020. If you're interested in scheduling a consultation with me so you can know what the full moon holds in store for you, or even further beyond that, what Mars's retrograde cycle in Ashwini Nakshatra holds in store, please do feel free to visit my astrological services page where you can schedule in the consultation of your choice. I'm going to try to see each and every one of you a little more regularly on YouTube soon, and I do want to thank you all immensely for continuing to watch and for being patient for me to post some more videos. I'll talk to you soon. Until then, please do take the very best care of yourself. Bye now.